watch over something again, or sometimes we've got some people that step in a little late, want to make sure that they can hear a recording and know where to find it. So let's just go ahead and jump in right here. My name is John Skelton. I'm with Apex Investing. Daryl Martin is out today, so I'm covering for him here. Let's just knock out our normal disclosures here so we can get moving on. So as always, trading futures, options, or any financial instrument involves risk, may not be suitable for every investor. The information and strategies contained herein are the property of Apex Investing Institute and may not be shared or distributed to any other party without express written permission. Futures and options swaps involve risks, may not be suitable. Information presented in this webinar is for informational purposes only. The contents of this webinar are not an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any particular financial instrument offered by Nadex, and past performance is not indicative of future results. So we will go through and cover some different strategies and systems that we use here at Apex Investing, but Apex Investing is not owned by Apex, or Apex is not owned by Nadex, and Nadex is not owned by Apex. We are separate companies. Apex Investing Institute is exactly that, an investing institute where we're a community of traders helping traders and offering education, and that's what we do for Nadex here every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, is just provide each week a webinar about education, educating you about Nadex, whether it be Nadex binaries, Nadex spreads, what are they, how do they work, who is Nadex, what are some different ways you can trade them, tips and tricks and stuff like that. So we're all about education here. Nadex, who is Nadex? If you don't already have one, let's just hop over here. You can just hop over to nadex.com and you can open a free demo trading account. You can go right here to trading, go to demo trading platform. I know most of you already have a live or demo account with Nadex, but if you don't, go ahead and hop over there right now, all right, and open up a demo account. All you got to do is just select a username, first and last name, phone and email, apply, and you're done. You have an email in just a few minutes, and you will have a active demo account. And what they do is they'll give you a demo account with $25,000 of funny money in it to play with. You can trade everything they offer, binary spreads, indices, Forex, without tying up any real money. That way, as you're learning, if you're brand new, still trying to figure out the world of binaries or fine-tune your system or strategy, one of the biggest and most expensive teachers can be trying to learn something or play with something or develop a system, investing and risking live money. So not something you want to do. So as you're learning, if you're new, hop on over, open a demo account right away, and they will get you all set up there. A couple of quick updates on Nadex here. That's what I had pulled up on this other screen. Some of you might have seen this. Let me pull this up. They've made some new additions and a new announcement here. So let me grab that so I can show you. Adding on some more markets here for us. Let's just see. Pop that back over here for you. Let's see here. This was the other day, and Nadex plans to implement this change as of today, March 16th. And what they are doing is adding in, there was some discussion about this before, but they're adding in the China 50 binary contracts to the current product listing. Okay, the China 50 is the Chinese market. It's part of the SGX, the Singapore Exchange. Will require some additional data feeds if you choose to trade this. Same data feed, the Singapore Exchange, that you would need to trade Japanese markets and the Nikkei. So, but got those added on. You can actually go and if we go right here to markets, go to stock indices and click contract specs. this will give you all the contract specs on all the indices. The first section here is the for US indices, showing you all the different specs there on the binaries and spreads, and then the rest of the world. And as you know, they've always had the, or for a while now, had the the FTSE, the Germany, the FDAX, and the Japanese market, and now have added on the China 50. You can see them listed there as well. If we come right down here, it will show you right now they are doing dailies and weeklies. I don't know offhand when they're going to be putting any other time frames in there as far as intraday and hourly binaries on the China 50, but just rolling out a new product there. Okay, so the dailies, they will have 15 different strikes, a strike width of 20, and then on the weeklies there'll be 13 strikes and a strike width of 100. All right, and you might have already noticed those today if you open up your let me just pull up a demo account here, and you can see if you go under indices binaries, right there you've got the China 50. Okay, now it's not showing open right now. Those won't open until 9 o'clock Eastern time. All right, with the daily and weekly expiration there. So just some new and exciting stuff there. Always adding on, always making some changes and additions, and more markets for us. So again, does require some additional data feeds to trade the SGX, the Singapore Exchange. I know some of you are nighttime traders and really interested in trading at night some of the overseas indices like the China 50 or the Nikkei in Japan. So those are some options there for you. We're also going to talk tonight about some other options. We're going to focus a little bit tonight on some nighttime trading and part-time trading, and what instruments you could do and what instruments you could use for some of that type of part-time trading. So tonight, what binary options does Nadex offer? What instruments are available? What time of day can you trade each of them? And some short-term binary strategies. Okay, so let's talk about part-time trading. I know a lot of you are part-time traders. Some of you may be brand new to the world of trading in general, or brand new to Nadex and binaries. Some of you have full-time jobs during the day and can only trade early morning before work, or in the evenings part-time around work and family, and that can be tough. Not all traders can be in front of a chart all day and sit there and watch a trend possibly forming for hours and enter a trade and watch it for hours and trail your stops and make your decisions of entering with more contracts and multiple entries, or when to exit, and long-term trend trading may not be for you. You might not have all day, or you may have a smaller account and you're not necessarily looking for long-term trades that are going to tie up lots of your time over hours, days, a week or more, or tie up that much money or potential risk. Okay, but one of the issues is for nighttime traders, the US indices, for example, the Dow, the S&P, the Nasdaq, stuff like that. Most of the time that movement is happening in the morning in the US Open, the early Eastern time hours, and you might be at work. Sometimes on the gold and oil and certain of those commodities, those are moving a lot. Sometime in the middle of the night when Europe's opening and in the US Open, but then at night when you sit down, there's not a whole lot going on sometimes. Sometimes there's not huge trends in those markets. You might find at night on some of the FX pairs, the foreign exchange pairs, that you might have some good movement on those at night, especially with the Aussie and the yen. For some of you that are only trend traders and your only system or strategy is longer term trend trading, well, that system may not always work for you very well at night. You might not get a whole lot of big moves. So you need multiple plays in your playbook, and I know that's something we talk about a lot. Might have heard us repeat it a lot, but even for you daytime traders, even for you traders that can trade the early morning U.S. sessions, um, you know, some days are trending where the market's just flying up hundreds of points or flying down hundreds of points. Some days are flat, some days are choppy, and so there's not one single perfect system that works 100% of the time in all market conditions. All right. So again, back to why you need multiple plays in your playbook. And I know you've heard us say this a million times. You're not going to win a football game by running a Hail Mary every single time. If that's the only play in your book, you're probably going to have an issue there. Okay. Or just like a golf game, you need more. Need more than one. You need more than just a putter in your bag there. All right. So we're going to talk about a few of those things tonight. And binaries just might be the perfect answer for you, okay? Because they don't require large moves, even at night. They're very volatile instruments. You can make money with potentially in flat markets, choppy markets, or trending markets, and there's capped risk. All right. So, if you're in a trade and it goes against you, and the market is trending and being volatile, your risk is capped. You know exactly right up front what your risk is, okay, and what your margin is. It's great for small accounts to get started, to do day trading on stocks. If you're doing a lot of trading on stocks, you have to have $25,000 in in an account to do that. Some futures and options can have a little more risk involved to them. May not be exactly what you're wanting to do starting off as a new trader with a smaller account. So binaries could be the perfect answer there for you. Trade them in all kind of markets, multiple expirations, got hourly expirations, daily, weekly, 20 minutes, 5 minutes. So ideal to work around the part-time trader. Okay, no matter what your schedule is, what time of day or night you can trade, there's normally always something open and available to trade on the Nadex platform. Okay, and they're very easy to learn. Great for brand new traders. Even if you've never looked at a chart before, you've never opened a chart before, you've never pressed a button and placed a trade before, binaries can be pretty easy to learn. Okay, and again, with Nadex offering the demo account, you can demo trade it while you're learning. And then once you get the hang of your system or strategy in demo and get it down, then you can move over to a live account and trade with live money. So just real quick, binary basics review. I'll show you where you can watch some extended videos on binary basics. We're just going to breeze through it here real quick. But what is a binary option? It's basically a true or false statement. At expiration, the contract's worth 0 or 100. You can hold it till expiration, or you can exit early. You know what your risk is right up front. Quick review. Again, at expiration, binary is either worth 0 or 100. Depending on where you buy the binary, between that price and based on the market movement will determine your risk. If you're buying a binary, you're in a long position. Let's say you buy a binary for $25. Well, that's your maximum risk is $25. Your maximum reward would be $75. If it expires in the money, if the statement is true, it's worth $100 at expiration. If the amount you buy a binary for is the amount you risk. Your risk amount is the money you're putting up in order to place that trade. And the difference between what you buy the binary for and $100 is the maximum amount you can make. All right, another example, going long, buying a binary, therefore you're saying the statement is true. If you buy it for $75, then your maximum risk is $75. Again, your risk is what you put up to buy the contract for. Your reward would be $25. Difference of where you bought compared to $100. If you're going the opposite way and going short, you're selling a binary, you're saying the statement is not going to be true, then if you sell a binary for $75, your maximum risk is $25. Your maximum reward would be $75. So on the sell side, the amount you sell a binary for is the maximum amount you can make. The difference of what you sell the binary for and $100 is the amount at risk. Okay. Another example right in the middle. If you sell a binary for 50 bucks, your max risk is 50 and your max reward is 50. Now I know I'm breezing through this, guys. Like I said, I'll show you where you can watch an extended video, but one thing to keep in mind, when you're placing an order on the Nadex platform, it tells you this right there in the order form before you press submit. So quick example here, this binary contract, what do I mean when I say the statement is true? Well, this is saying that the euro dollar will be greater than 1.3960 at 3 p.m. Well, so if I think the market's going up, or if I think the market's going to be above 1.3960 at 3 p.m., then I may want to buy this contract, because I'm saying that's true. That's going to happen. That is a true statement. That event will take place. So if I'm buying it, I click buy, I put a size of 1 for 85. It shows me right here. My maximum profit is 15, right? Because the difference between $85 and $100 would be $15. That's my maximum profit. Maximum risk is $85. Now, like I said, if the event does not happen, the binary will close at 0. Our maximum loss is 85. We don't have to take that full loss. We can exit previous to expiration for a smaller potential loss. Again, the opposite of that, same situation, euro dollar be greater than 1.3960 at 3 p.m. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the market will go down. I think the market will be less than 39.60. So I want to sell this contract, because I'm saying that statement will not happen. It's false. The event will not happen. So I'm selling one contract for 82. Shows me right there before I ever place the order. Maximum profit's 82. Max loss is 18. Because again, if I'm selling, my risk is 18 bucks, because it's the difference of where I sell compared to 100 bucks. Okay? So again, for you newbies, buying and selling, and wait, what's my max risk? I'll show you where to watch more information on this, but keep in mind, they show you exactly on the order ticket right here, before you enter the trade, exactly what that is. Okay, so you'll know before you get in. Okay? Now, let me just show you real quick, because I'm getting some questions on it already. Let's talk about where you can get some more information. We already talked about going to Nadex and opening a free demo account. You can also visit our website, apexinvesting.com. And when you get here, you can just click right here, join free now. Select a username and password. No credit card, no obligation, just a free account. Okay? And once you have selected a username and password, you'll be able to log in. Let me just show you here. And you will literally have access to literally hundreds of hours of education. Okay? You can go to the website here, and check out our weekly webinar event calendar there. You're welcome to join us on any webinars that we do. If you go right here to questions, and then right here, trading questions forum, you can go to our forum, and we have the forum broken down into several sections. You see S1 through S12 here, sanity, steward, schedule, over here, strategy. Let's discuss all kind of different strategies, systems. You can watch videos about all of our systems here. Okay, even if you're not a member and don't have access to all of our, charting and indicators, you have full free access to every trading video we have to fully understand what we do, how we trade binaries, how our system works. Exactly what you've got there. Okay, right here under General Trading Forum, if you just open that up, you come right down here to Apex Webinars, and right here, Newest Webinars. Okay, and this will show you all of our most recent webinars. This is where the webinar we're doing right now is being recorded. Later tonight or by first thing in the morning, I will have this updated to this same place here. You can see last Monday's webinar we did for Nadex. We talked about directional, reversal, and scalping binaries. Previous to that, right here, I did Binaries 101. This is a full, little over an hour webinar going through step by step, showing examples, screenshots, exactly what is a binary, how does the binary work. So I know we just kind of did a quick run through there for you newbies, but if you want some detailed step-by-step info, right there. So let's address a couple quick questions here. Tom, let's see here. Tom, what is your last name? Tom, my name is John Skelton. I'm with Apex Investing. Daryl is out. He was actually on it's him and his wife's 11-year anniversary was on Friday, I believe. So they were out for a little bit. So that's why Daryl's not with us here today. James asked, can you do directional intraday scalp trades using the Nadex platform? Absolutely you can, James, and we're about to cover that here in just a few minutes. Let's see here. Sean, is this website free of charge? The website I'm showing you right here, Apex Investing, you can sign up like I just showed you there as a free member, select a username and password, and you'll have full access to this site. Okay. Yes, we do have some memberships that allow you access to live trade rooms or some of our custom Apex indicators and charting systems and all that. But the website itself and all of the education is completely free. There's literally, when I say hundreds of hours of free education on here, I mean that. Right here, go to the education tab. Scroll down here to Nadex tutorials. Oh, let me get back here. Let me just minimize this a little bit. Right here, education tab and Nadex tutorials, and then right here you've got Nadex platform tutorials. Bunch of different videos showing you how to use the Nadex platform, tips and tricks on opening tickets, submitting orders, placing take profit orders. Right here, Nadex spreads, give you all kind of information about Nadex spreads. Then right here, Nadex binaries. Okay, and if you would click that, it will bring you to this page here, and you'll see at the bottom you can scroll here. Here's a webinar and training on top mistakes to avoid, binary option strategies, why Nadex binaries, how to use the price ladder. Over here, the difference of out of the money and in the money binary strategies, premium collection strategies, how to do Nadex straddles, how to do strangles, all kind of information there on basics of binaries, how they work, what is a Nadex butterfly. So these are actually trading strategies you can use, and systems you can look at as well. All that is totally free there. Okay, Sean, so yes, that answer your question there, Sean? As far as the website itself? Okay. All right, I see some more questions in here. We'll get to those here in just a second. Okay, let's move forward. I see some questions coming in, but most of them we're actually going to answer here. Let's see here. Eric, I'll show you a couple as well. So, binary types and expirations. All right. Now that you kind of understand what a binary is, it's a yes or no, true or false statement. Binary is worth 0 or 100 at expiration settlement, or you can get out early. There are weekly binaries that expire at the end of the week. There are daily binaries that expire at the end of the trading day. And there are intraday binaries that usually expire every hour on the hour. For the 4 U.S. indices, there are 20-minute binaries starting and expiring every 20 minutes. And there are 5-minute binaries. Okay, let's talk about 5-minute binaries for a little bit, because we're kind of focusing tonight on part-time traders. 5-minute binaries can be really good for part-time traders because, we talked about that. You may not have a whole lot of time at night. looking for a longer term trend, trend strategy, even if you're looking at hourly binaries at night, you may spend quite a bit of time at night using whatever system or strategy that you're using, and waiting for just the right setup for that next hour. And what if it doesn't come? Then you're waiting on the next hour. And as part-time, you're taking time out of your evening away from your family after a long day of work, and you might go through 2 or 3 hours there waiting for just the right setup on an hourly, and it may not happen. But with the 5-minute binaries, you've got potential opportunities every 5 minutes on 4 different instruments. Okay, so it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for you, okay, at night. And you might be able to sit down and just knock out a few real quick and you're done, okay. You might even be able to trade some on breaks or lunch breaks at work, okay, because they're only every 5 minutes. You're not spending hours and hours. The other nice thing about them is, you can demo them every 5 minutes. If you're brand new, just trying to learn binaries, and you're trading your demo account to get a handle on them, well, again, if all your trading is weekly or daily or even hourly, it's giving you a longer learning curve, because you can only test your system or strategy once a week if you're doing weeklies, or once a day if you're doing dailies, or even once an hour on the hourly binaries. But with the 20 minutes, and especially with the 5 minutes, you've got, again, potential opportunities every 5 minutes on 4 different instruments. And they're fast moving instruments, they're quick trades, they're easy to learn, you can get in and out, not have to tie up a whole lot of time. So what are they? How fast do they move? How many strikes are there? When can I trade them? What instruments can I trade on? So one of the main strategies that we teach, okay, as far as 5-minute binaries and the 20-minute binaries, is scalping, okay. I believe, who was it that asked about scalping a minute ago? I believe, was that Sean? Or James. James, you asked about scalping. Scalping is our favorite strategy when it comes to the 5-minute binaries, okay. We're talking just a quick $20 or $30 profit in and out, and you only need a couple of ticks. It doesn't require a whole lot of movement, okay. So let's stop for a minute and look, what can we trade 5-minute binaries on? Okay, well, if we go just directly to the Apex site here, okay, or the Nadex site, you'll see right here 5-minute binaries. And right now the 5-minute binaries are available 23 hours a day. Okay, you can't trade them between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Other than that, you can trade them 23 hours a day. Monday through or Sunday, starting Sunday night at 6, going till Friday at 4, I believe. And you can trade them on 4 different FX or Forex pairs: the Aussie dollar, the Euro dollar, the pound dollar, and the dollar yen. Okay. So, for example, if you click on the dollar yen, you'll see it right there. Right now, they're offering 5 strikes, okay, on the dollar yen, and I believe it's 5 strikes on everything. You'll see, like on the dollar yen here, they are 3 ticks wide. So you've got 121.31, 0.34, 0.37, 0.40, 0.43. So 3 ticks wide, okay. And you can see right here, time left 3 minutes 43 seconds. When these expire, they'll either be worth 0 or 100, and then the next 5-minute binary will be active, and you'll see it'll say time left 5 minutes, 4 minutes 59 seconds, and you'll see the countdown there. Okay, so they are very fast moving instruments, and any of you that have played with them have seen that. And we talk about a binary being worth 0 or 100 at expiration, but one of the big things we always say is you do not have to hold until expiration. In fact, here at Apex, there's really no strategy or system we teach where you do hold a binary till expiration. Because let's say, for example, you bought, just a complete example. Let's say we bought this binary right here for 67 bucks. Okay? And the market's moving up, it's going in our favor, and it jumps to 70, and then jumps to 80, then jumps to 90, and jumps to 95. We're making money. We're in profit, right? But then all of a sudden the market ticks down a few ticks, and all of a sudden this thing's down to 40 bucks. Well, and it looks like it's still going down. Would we rather get out of it right there at 40 bucks and potentially cut our losses there, or do we want to hold it and let it go to zero? Well, but what happens if when it got up to 95 bucks, what if we just gotten out of it right there? And that way we locked in our profit. Why would we not want to, if we bought it for 65 bucks, why would we not be happy with getting out at 95 and taking a $30 profit? Why would we hold it till expiration just to try to get another $5 and risking it going against us? Okay, so that's why we normally do not hold all the way till expiration. All right, we're going to do a quick in and out. Okay, let me look here. I got some questions here. Let's see here. Yep, exactly. Yep, exactly. You've had that several times where it comes up and you're up 20, 30, 40 bucks in profit, and you should have got out, and then it went against you, and you regret it. Yep, exactly. And let's see here, what other questions we've got. Give me a second to kind of scroll through here, guys. If I'm not answering your question yet, just bear with me. There's a lot of them coming through, and some of them I'm holding off because I know we're about to cover exactly what you're asking here. Okay. Let's see here. A couple people are asking, hey, how much as a beginner investor do I need to begin? Or, hey, I have this amount or that amount in my account. Is that enough to get going with? Honestly, there's no perfect answer for that. First of all, from a legal advice kind of standpoint, I can't tell you that personally. It really depends on what strategy you're going to use. Someone may say, hey, I opened a Nadex account for $100. Can I trade with that, or do I need to wait and save up more? Well, that's up to you and your personal risk management, and it's also up to what strategy you're going to use. Okay, and I know that may sound like like I'm not answering your question or a canned response, but it's very true, because if your strategy is an in-the-money strategy, and what in the money means is, let me find a better example of it here, right here. Okay, so this binary says at 740, will the Aussie dollar be above 76.41? Or at or above that, right? But it'll be above 76.41. Well, right now the market's at 76.41, so it's like, hey, that might be a really good chance that that's gonna expire in the money. And so look what it's priced at. It's priced at $71. Well, the reason it's priced like that is because it's already looking like it's going to be in the money. So if you only got $100 in your account and your strategy is in the money binaries, how many times can you be wrong until you can't place another trade? Right, exactly. So can you trade binaries with just $100 in your account? Yes, you can. But you do not want to be trading $80 binaries. Okay, does that make sense? Let's see here. Now, you could trade out of the money binaries, or you could do some scalping, and I'll show you some examples of that. Okay, but that's really up to you as far as how much you want to start with, and therefore what strategy you should use. Okay, let's see here. Someone asked, sir, do you make more selling than buying. No, you're following your system. You're following what the chart is telling you to do. And if the market's moving up, you might be buying. If the market's moving down, you might be selling. Not necessarily making more one way or the other. Okay. James, where these contracts come from? Well, you can see right here, for example, this particular strike right here. We got 30 contracts on each side. Got a bid and offer there. Those are from the market makers. Okay, now sometimes you've got other traders that are creating that market and putting a contract out. Or it might be the market makers themselves. Okay. Nadex is not trading against you. Nadex is just the platform. They're facilitating the buying and selling of the contract. Okay. Let's see here. Yep, Rob, exactly. Why not buy at lower prices? Let's see here. Does one have to watch charts in 5-minute binaries? Yes, to trade 5-minute binaries, you definitely want to be watching a chart and have a system or strategy to know what direction that market is going. Okay. Yes, someone said that went from 68 to 88. What is the change? Well, the change is, that's the whole beauty of 5-minute binaries, is because they can move very fast. The change in price of a binary is all based on the indicative. What is the market doing? Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that. How late can you get into a 5-minute binary? The market makers stop quoting normally in the last 30 seconds. Okay. Let's see here. Exactly, Leon. Can't go broke by taking profit off the table. Exactly. Okay, let's see here. Alright, let's jump back over here. It's going to answer a few more questions out there, but jumping through, we'll answer here. So, let's talk about scalping on 5-minute binaries. When we're looking at scalping on 5-minute binaries, we're just looking for 20 to 30 bucks in and out and only needing a couple of ticks. Doesn't require a big move, just a couple of ticks. Just 1 second. Alright, and what do I mean by that? Here's a screenshot of our scanner. Alright, if you go to the Apex website, this is our binary scanner. Alright, what this does is, you can see here, I've got all the different 5-minute binaries here all in one place in front of me. Instead of having to go back and forth between the different tabs on the Nadex platform, it's just a little more convenient and puts them all here for you. But let's just take a look here on the Aussie dollar, for example. So you've got your different strikes here. You've got this strike right here, 76.44, 76.41, 76.38. Now let's look at the pricing. Okay, on this one right here, 76.47 is priced at $8. This one's priced at $14. This one's priced at $76. So what is the difference between this $14 and the $76? Well, the difference is 3 ticks, right? You see that? Well, that just goes to show you that with the 5-minute binaries, it does not take a whole lot of movement to make a big difference in price. Okay, look down here at the other one. Look at the euro dollar. All right, 0567 priced at 31 bucks. 0564, 94 bucks. So what happens if you were to buy this one here for 30? All right, your system's telling you the market's going up. You're buying this one here for $31, and the market just moves a couple of ticks. Okay, and this value goes up to say 60 bucks. So you can risk 30 bucks and just a tick or two of the market, make 30 bucks and get out. All right, yes, maybe it kept going up and the thing would have expired in the money for 100 bucks. And you might be regretting going, oh man, if I'd have held on to it, I could have made all this more money. Well, yeah, but how many times will it do the opposite? Okay, don't be greedy. Um, yes, Leon, exactly. Taking your profit. Okay, so let's look at some examples. This is an example screenshot of our trend catcher system that we use here at Apex. Okay, and don't be too overwhelmed by all the different things on this chart here. It really is very simple. Okay, um, now so on our chart here, you see we've got green arrows here, red arrow here, green arrow, red. Okay, see these square boxes? All right, that's what we call our expected range indicator, but it's set to every 5 minutes. So that way you can see kind of when the 5-minute binary is going to expire. Okay. Now, I'll show you where you can find more info on this and see an exact step-by-step, literal step-by-step training course setting all this up. Just kind of giving you a brief overview here. But what do you think green arrow means? Buy. What do you think red arrow means? Sell. What do you think green arrow means? Pretty simple. Okay. So let's look at an example here. Let's look. Oh, any of these examples. Let's look at this one. So right here, set to sell, and that was right about 121.05, and then the market moved down here to 121. So bam, got it. The entry arrow went down 5 ticks. Now, do we need 5 ticks? In this example above, only 3 ticks was a huge difference of almost 50 bucks, right? 2 ticks could have probably been the difference to go from $30 to $60 and scalp it and get out. Again, guys, don't be greedy. We're not looking for huge trends here. We're just looking for quick moves in the market, because again, binaries can be a very volatile instrument because you've got a 5-minute period, a 5-minute window for that contract to either be true or false, yes or no. So if it starts to move just a tick or two to be in the money, it's going to expire at 100 bucks. So it's got to move from 30 up to 100 pretty quick. And all we're looking for is to potentially scalp it with an out of the money binary. Okay, so again, there's another example like we just talked about. 3 ticks, 14 to 60. 3 ticks, 31 to 85. Green means buy, red means sell. We use our expected volume and our bar timers. What do I mean by that? We're not just simply going in, just following the arrows. Although, as you see, it works out pretty good when you do. All right, but right here, for example, we had this arrow that was a buy signal. All right, so if you got in there, that one there probably would have won. But then I don't have a new arrow this whole time. But right here, I've got higher than expected volume telling me that that thing's still moving. So in this next 5-minute period, if I wanted to get in there and take another one, look at that. That went from 120.9 up to or 0.90. That thing moved 20 ticks. I mean, we got a good scalp out of that. Okay. We're also looking at things like our bar timer down here. Are these bars taking longer than 3 minutes to form? Well, if you're going in to potentially do a 5-minute trade or a trade on a 5-minute binary, do you really think you want to take that trade if the previous bars are all taking 5-10 minutes to form and the market's just flat, doing nothing? Probably not. Okay? It's probably not what you're looking to do there. So, again, these are low-risk, short-term trades. We do them on the 5-minute binaries and the 20-minute binaries. We're looking for a quick $20 or $30 profit in and out. Now, again, guys, that's one contract. Okay, some people are like, it's 20 or 30 bucks. What? Well, yeah, but that's potentially 20 or 30 bucks every 5 minutes. And we're talking about one contract. You do 2 contracts, you do 5 contracts, you can do 10. If you're doing 10 contracts at a time, a $20 or $30 scalp is turning into a $200 to $300 scalp. Okay, so there's low risk, there's no stops needed. You know, you can potentially do these quick $20 plus scalps all day and night. Okay, so that is why these are great for people with smaller accounts, and especially for newbies, but really great for part-time and nighttime traders, because you're not having to take up so many hours and so much time throughout the night. You've got an opportunity every 5 minutes. Okay, let's see here. Let me just look over a couple questions, guys. I know they're coming through here. Let's see here. In this example, is a scanner showing the bid price or the ask price? That example is showing both. Okay. All right. You got bid and ask right here on both sides. You got your buy side and your sell side. Okay. So how do we get this set up? I'll show you exactly where you can get some more information on that. As far as the system I just showed you right there, if you're on the Apex website, you can actually go to this tab right here that says Binary Essentials. Step 3 is Trading System Courses. Right there, 5-minute binary trend catcher course. Okay, this will literally walk you through step by step everything we do with the 5-minute binaries. It'll go through talking about our rooms, basics of 5-minute binaries, setting up NinjaTrader, getting free charting platform, free data, what exactly are in the money and out of the money binaries, different ways you could trade those on 5 minutes, the entry and exit rule. I mean, it's all right there, literally step by step. Okay, so again, Binary Essentials, step 3, training courses. It'll walk you through in depth, in detail of what I just kind of showed you there. Which price level do you choose, the at the money or the out of the money one? Well, it all depends. And again, that training course I just showed you there will walk through, you saw the 3 modules there, out of the money, at the money, and in the money. Kind of walk you through what each one is and under what circumstances would you possibly want to take one over the other. Okay, you know, if you're taking an out of the money binary, like this one here at $14, if I'm going to take that one, I'm going to take that one because something on my chart or on my indicators is telling me that there's some movement in the market. All right, to be profitable on an out of the money binary, you've got to have movement in the market. It's got to move, even if it's only a tick or two. So it might be my bar timer here. Hey, every one of these bars only taking a few seconds. The market's got some movement going on. Hey, volume is higher than expected. When these blue bars shoot past this yellow bar, that means volume's going to go high. So hey, there's some movement in the market. All right, so if I'm going to choose an out of the money, I'm looking for something to tell me that the market's going to move, to at least give me a couple ticks. Okay. Let's see here. Tim, the $30 bid is times the price. For example, 65 times 30 when you buy. Not quite sure what you mean by that question. I'm not quite following you there. If you can explain that a little bit, but you know, if you go on here, for example, and you see it right on the platform, you want to select this particular binary, and you want to go in and you want to buy it for $44, and you buy that, you're in the contract for $44. Okay, your max risk is $44.50, and your potential profit would be the difference of $44.50 and $100, which would be, you know, $55.50. Now, if you want to scalp that, you know, you can scalp that. You bought it for 44. If it happens to go up to 65 or 70 and you want to get out, you can. Okay. Let's see here. With a 5-minute binary, if you are wrong, will it be difficult to get out and minimize losses? Well, they can move very fast. So that is the, in a sense, the pro and the con. The pro And the beauty of the 5-minute binaries is how fast they move. And they can move very fast, put you into profit very fast. Okay? If they go against you and you're wanting to get out, well, they can move pretty fast against you. All right? But that is one of the reasons for that you might choose to trade out of the money binaries for $20 or $30 risk at a time. Because let's say, for example, you're risking 30 bucks and you're just trying to scalp for 30 bucks. Well, then you don't have to have a stop loss because you're risking 30 to make 30. It's a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So as long as you have a system or strategy that gives you 50% win rate, then you're even, you're break even. If you have a strategy that's giving you 60, 70, 80% win rate, then you're in the money. Okay? Let's see here. Let's see what the formula coverage. Scott, no problem. Absolutely. Very welcome there. Mr. S asking him, what are the best time of day to trade? Actually, we're about to talk about that right here. How does one exit a trade early? All right, so I've got this trade open right here. This is just a demo trade, and I want to open it. And okay, remember, I bought this one. See, it's +1. I bought it. So to exit it early, I'm going to want to sell it. So as soon as I click that ticket, it already opens up with a sell there. Okay, and so I don't have to figure that out. I can just go in. So again, if you bought it, it's in there. You want to sell it, it's already set up, and you sell it. Okay. If you're wanting to, we'll get into here in a second about taking profits. Okay. Let's see here. No, Andrew, you would need a membership for that. Okay. Real quick, can you explain out of the money and in the money? Okay. Pretty simple, or a pretty simple explanation. You can go on our website. There's lots of videos and information about this, but give it just a second for us to count down and have the new strikes show up for the next 5 minutes. Actually, we're at the end of the hour here. They won't show up. I will come back to that. Okay. Eric, how long does it take to receive withdrawals? With Nadex, it depends on if you're doing like an ACH or a wire. If you do a wire request, I think it's $25 fee for the wire, but as long as you do it before, I believe 3 p.m. Eastern time. I know I normally get them in my bank account that night or by the time I wake up the next morning. It's a quick wire, or I've requested them in the morning. At times I'll have it in my bank account by the afternoon. If you request an ACH, so that way you don't pay that larger fee, I think it can take 3-4 business days, I believe, but it's very quick, especially with doing a wire. So all right, so that's short term there. Somebody asked the best times to trade. Well, the markets are different all the time, right? Like we talked about earlier, some days there's trending days and the market is just going crazy. It's trending all day. Or like with FX, Forex pairs, there might be something going on out there that's just driving the FX market crazy, and it's moving like crazy all day and night, and you got news out there and economic events. But in general, when you're looking at the 5-minute binaries, for example, okay, because that's what we've been focusing on here. Well, we know that one of the there's 4 FX pairs that we can do the 5-minute binaries on, right? Well, one of them is the dollar-yen. So Japan, all right, we talked about the U.S. markets are open early in the morning, right? Well, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, there's probably not a whole lot going on that's going to move the U.S. markets or move the dollar in and of itself, perhaps. But Japan opens and Australia opens, at 6, 7 o'clock in there, 8 o'clock. So you've got your Aussie dollar and your dollar yen that are normally moving those hours, like say 7 to 9, 7 to 10, for some of you part-timers that are trading at night when you get home. So we have, as far as what we can trade, 5-minute binaries, Aussie dollar, and dollar yen. Okay, so you might find that earlier in the evening, those two are the ones that are moving quicker. Okay, like the 7 to 9, 7 to 10. Sometimes they'll slow down from like 10 to midnight, just depending on what's going on. But Aussie dollar, so basically Australia and Japan, it's morning for them. Their markets are opening up. Their economic markets are getting moving, and it can have an effect on their currency and therefore start to move those two pairs. Okay. Now we also have euro dollar and pound dollar, and you could definitely get some movement on euro dollar and pound dollar. When one Forex starts moving, the others start moving. But you'll see that you've probably got more movement on Aussie and yen those early evenings. Okay. Now, come 3 or 4 in the morning, when Europe and Germany and the European markets get up and going, then you might find that you've got a little more movement on your euro dollar and pound dollar. Okay, and you might not have as much movement on the dollar yen. Okay, so you might kind of see a flip-flop there. You might see Aussie and yen early in the evening. You might in the middle of the night see pound dollar and euro dollar moving, and then in the mornings with the US morning open, you might see all of them moving. Okay, because the dollar starts to affect those. So basically you got your Australian and Japanese markets moving the Aussie and the yen, and then you've got European markets moving the pound and the euro, and then when the US opens up in the morning, you've got the US moving the dollar, which has an effect as well. Sometimes in the afternoon you might see a little bit of slowdown, or you might still see it moving a lot too. Okay, so as far as the best times to trade, you can trade these 5-minute binaries anytime, but those are kind of the, I guess, hours to be most aware of. Say, trade them 23 hours a day, but say 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 in the evening for those two pairs, Aussie and yen. Middle of the night, say 4 a.m. to 7, you might be looking to trade the European pairs. I know some of you get up early before work and you'll trade an hour or two before going to work part-time. Some of you don't really trade at night. You get up earlier to trade, and you trade from 4 to 6 or 5 to 7, getting those early European markets before you head on out. Okay, be aware of news. All right, we talked about Aussie and we talked about yen being open earlier in the evening like that. Sometimes they can be moving pretty good. Sometimes it might be a slow night. But if you're on our Apex website here, you go to News Trading Plan. This will give you an idea of what's going on. You want to be definitely aware. Okay, like for tonight, for example, from 8:30 to 9, there's the Aussie monetary policy meetings coming out. Be aware of that. That can have an effect on the Aussie. You might start to see some good movement there. Okay, 11 o'clock, Japanese monetary policy statement. You might see some good movement there. All right, be aware of some of those news events. You might start to see some movement. You might start to see some volatility. Those are some good times to be aware of what's going on. Okay. Ron, you're saying you can't get the 5-minute on the Nadex site. That is because it's just now. You'll see them now. Okay. If you pull it up, see, there they are now for the 8:05 expiration. You couldn't see them a second ago for the 8 o'clock expiration Eastern Time, because Nadex does not list the 5-minute binaries to expire on the hour, meaning you'll have them every 5 minutes, but they won't list from 7:55 to 8 o'clock. Okay, when they expire on the hour like that. That last 5 minute period doesn't list. They don't do them the last 5 minutes of the hour. So that's why you couldn't see them there a second ago. And you'll see them back up there now. Okay. Robert asking about fill. Let me ask it a different way. How often do orders not get filled? What can we expect as an average fill rate? Do demo orders get filled as if they were live? Yes, demo works the same as live. We get this question a lot. People saying, hey, I just opened a demo account, or I'm new to trading, and I've had some trouble getting my orders filled. Okay, 99% of the time when somebody says I couldn't get filled, here's why. Watch close. When you place an order on Nadex, it is a limit order. So let's say that I want to look at this $12 contract here. What are we on? Aussie. Let me try yen. All right. So let's say I want to buy this one right here, the 121.41. So I click that. I put size of 1. So I'm going to do one contract. I want to buy it. So I click buy. It automatically fills in that price right there. Okay, because I clicked buy, so it filled it in, and I press place order. Well, I didn't get filled. Where's my order? It's not right here in open orders. Where is it? Well, I go up here to working orders. It's still working. Why is that? And then someone says, I never get filled. I didn't get filled. Exactly, Leon, because the price changed. See, remember how quick the price moves? Let's look at another example here. This one right here. I'd say 1, I want to buy it. Boom, it's already changed in price. You see that? Okay, it's a limit order. All right, on Nadex. Everything is a limit order. So whatever price is listed right here, that's my limit order. So what I'm saying is I want to buy this for a maximum of $55. So like right now, if I press place order, right now I can buy it for, well, now it went away. But if I said $55, if it can fill me for 55 or less when I place the order, it will fill me. But if I have 55 in there and the price has jumped to 56 and I place the order, it's not going to fill me because I told it 55 is the maximum that I'm going to pay for it. Okay, so let's look at the next round here. This will make a little more sense. This is a question we get quite a bit, and it's very vital that you understand this. So all right, right here, I'm going to open this contract. Boom, I'm going to buy it for 48 bucks, and it went down to 38. So that means if I place that order, I'll get it right away. Because I said I'm willing to pay 48. At that time, the market had gone down to 38, so boom, it filled me right away. Okay, so now I'm going to get out of this. So let's look at a different example. So I'm in it. I want to do 30. I want to buy this one for 30 bucks. Or actually, no, let's say I want to sell this one for 47 or more. Well, the market is not going to fill me because it's already down to 46, right? What happens if I said I'll sell it for, let's see here, so now it's at 60, say I just put 75 in there. So right now I can sell it for 60, right? 60.25. But if I just put 75 in there, boom, what's it going to do? Nothing, because it hadn't got up there yet, right? It wasn't up there. Now, if I say I want to, remember you always want to buy lower or sell lower. Buy lower, sell higher. So if I said, how about I will sell this for 50. Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 4, let's say 30. Come on. Okay, it filled me. Okay, because I placed an order that was lower. All right. Now that might be a little confusing for some of you that are new, or some of you might be scared, like, okay, if I want to buy this one right now, I can get it for $49, $48. Well, if I put 75 in there and say buy it, I don't want to do that because it's going to charge me 75 bucks. No, it's going to get you the best price that it can. See, I got filled for 47. But here's what happens is we call it chasing orders. You'll see that, hey, right now I can get it for 47, so let me fill out my ticket. Boom, by the time I pressed enter, the price had moved to 48, so I didn't get filled. So then I tried to get it for 48, and it moved up to 51. Then it moved back to 49. Then it went up to 53. Then it went to 47. If I just placed the order for 60 or 70, for example, it's going to get me in at 70 or less, whatever the current market is. So if I'm placing my order higher than the current, I'm not chasing my order, but I'm still going to get the best fill. Okay, like right here, this one's priced $8.75, $9. If I put 30 bucks to buy it, what's going to happen? I still got it for 9 bucks. Okay, because it's a limit order. That's the most I'm going to pay. I'm not saying I'll pay that. I'm saying that's the most I'll pay. That way I'm not chasing that order if it jumps around real quick. Okay, what happens if you buy at a higher price than needed? Well, you won't necessarily, you got to keep in mind whatever you put in there is the max you're willing to pay. Like you would pay that if the market jumped to that. Okay, the only reason it would go up to that higher price is because the market jumped. Yeah, Leon, exactly. If I buy at 60, I can see a high price at 70. Yeah, okay. Now the question is, what happens if I buy higher than needed? Well, what you're trying to do there is just avoid chasing this, chasing it going all over the place. So you're just placing a little higher order, limit order, to make sure you can get filled. All right. Play with that in demo, guys. You'll see it a little better as you play it with it yourself. You'll see that you're not going to get filled at that higher price just because you placed it. You can get filled at a higher price if the market moves that way. Okay, but play with that in demo and you'll understand it. That will handle 90% of the questions that we ever see come up about not getting filled. Okay. Mr. S, can you go over the different hedging options we're taking both sides when you enter a trade? We are actually, I think what you're asking about is the strangles and butterflies. All right, we are actually covering that in detail next Monday. You're probably talking about like for flat and non-trending markets where we're selling and buying an in-the-money binary. For example, right here in a flat market, you see these squares, that's the expected range. That's what we expect the market to move during that 20-minute period. So if I'm selling a binary up here at the high of the period, that means I'm saying the market won't get that high. If I'm buying one down here, I'm saying it'll stay above that. So as long as it stays in the middle, I can profit on both binaries. So I can sell a binary and buy a binary at the same time. And as long as it expires in the middle, I can profit on both sides. Okay, or you might be talking about and here's an example of it here. I'm buying this binary here for $82. I'm selling this one for $19. So I've got a $19 profit potential here, $17 profit potential here. As long as it expires in the middle, I can profit on both sides. Okay. Now, you might be, Mr. S, referring to the strangle, which is the opposite. What a strangle is when there is movement in the market, where the market is not necessarily trending straight up or down, and it's not totally flat. It's kind of chopping up back and forth, got some high volume going on. It's a choppy, volatile market. So what I'm going to do is right here, and we're going to cover this in detail next week. See this binary that's priced about 50 bucks, this 17,893. That means that's where the market currently is. That binary is at the money right now. It's about a 50-50 chance, like this is where the market is. But the market's being choppy. The market's going up, market's coming down. But I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm not sure if it's going to go up or down. I just know it's moving. So I might buy this $18 binary right here. So what happens if the market's here and this binary is priced at 50 bucks, and then all of a sudden the market pops up to here, to this level? Well, now that binary is going to be worth about 50 bucks because that's where the market is. So if I bought this for 18 bucks, the market comes up, well, that binary would be worth 50 bucks then. Well, what if I also sold at the same time, sold this binary right here? So the market's here, it comes down. Now that this one was 86, I sold it for, now it's worth 50. So I made 30 something bucks there. That's a strangle, okay? Is when I'm basically buying and out of the money and selling and out of the money. Perfect example right here. Again, you see the market's moving. So I sold this one for 86. So that's a $14 risk. I bought one for $15.50. That's a $15 risk. So my total risk on both sides is 30 bucks. Normally with this strategy, with this one, I'm expecting one side to lose because I know the market's going to go somewhere, but I just don't know which way it's going to go. So I'm buying one and selling one, low risk. And as you see here, the sold side, see, it's this example here as the market was going up. Sold side was worth nothing. My bought side was up $54 in profit. So it more than made up for my risk plus my money back. All right. So I think that's the one you were asking about. We're actually going to be covering that in detail next week. If you want to get a head start on those and some more information, I can show you exactly where to go. If you go over here to the education tab, or no, I'm sorry, right here, binary essentials, trading system courses, and then right here, binary strangle. That's the last one I just showed you where I'm buying and selling the cheap out of the monies, expecting it to move one way or the other. I just don't know which way. Or the binary butterfly, where I'm buying and selling in the monies, wanting the market to be flat and range bound, expire in the middle so I could profit on both sides. Okay, so we're going to cover those next week on next Monday's webinar in depth, each one. It'll be completely just focused on those, but we have done those before. If you want to watch those videos, they're right there and give you a good head start, an idea of what we're looking at there. Contact info, go right here. Once you go to the Apex website, sign up for your free username and password. Right here under the help desk, you can just submit a ticket right there, and that'll come straight to me. Okay, so that will come right there to me. We're running a little bit over here, guys. Let me just double check a few questions here. Let's see here. Got that. Let's see here. Sean, no problem, man. Thank you for your input as well. Steve, I'm running out of a little bit of time here, but if you go to the Apex Investing website, like where I just showed right here under the Binary Essentials tab, Trading System Courses, go right here to the 5-minute Binary Trend Catcher course. We actually walk through the entire 5-minute binary scalping system. There's some examples in here. There's some trade examples, screenshots, live trades, showing you how to do them with out of the money, at the money, in the money. There's a ton of them right there. Okay. Applications for free demo. Sean. Free demos. Not sure what you mean by free demos. If you can just explain that, Sean, I might be able to direct you somewhere. So, Gary, thank you very much. Yep, look forward to seeing you next week as well. So, once again, guys, make sure that you go to the Apex website, sign up for a free username and password, watch some of those videos, get a live or demo account with Nadex, and join us every Monday night here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will keep going through our webinar, our Nadex binary webinars here. Got some good stuff. Like I said, next week is going to be covering in detail those strangles and straddles and butterflies, and then the week after I believe we are covering the 5-minute scalping again, and going to dig into these a lot more. So guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. We're running over, so I will let y'all run. If you need anything at all, just hit us up on the help desk there in the apexinvesting.com website. Kingsley, no, you'll need a separate login. Okay, can I log into Apex Investing with my Nadex account? You'll need a separate login for Apex. Okay. All right, guys, sounds good. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great night. All right, thank you.